Sorry, I had to blow my ears, clear my ears, guys. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Inquiring Minds. I am Hialeah Comic Bro, and as always, I am accompanied by Conquistadorks Javi. Javi, how you doing?
What's up, man? Great way to start the 50th episode.
And we've been going for over a year already, but we've missed a few weeks here and there, so we already passed our year mark, but this is our big 50th episode. Dude, crazy, right?
50, man.
Yeah,
50th episode.
50 guests. Wow, man. It's been
all amazing people, all great guests that we've had. This show has been a blast running through, running down now up to the 50th episode. We've had some amazing people on here, getting to know about just different people in the community, because I know everybody knows this. All the people who do the YouTube live shows and all the people who are in the YouTube comic book chat, they all know how great this community is, how much this community comes together, not just in the interest of comics, but also just like being there for each other in everyday life. And it's just been such a blast.
Definitely, dude. I can't believe we're at our 50th, man. It's just me and you go over our. We're gonna bring our guest in a minute because he's a special guest. They're all special guests, but we go through the list and it's like, dude, did we talk? Did we get? Yeah. Oh yeah, we did, man. Oh my God, it was way back when, and oh my God. But anyway, here we are, 50th episode. This next guest, I always wanted as my 50th guest. Man, without further ado, what's up, Roger? Man.
Hey, Javi, Raul, man, what an honor it is to be here on Inquiring Minds. Now I know how the guest on the Johnny Carson show felt. I tell you, it's a dream come true. I've been watching your show, not live, as I was telling Raul, because this is when I usually talk to my mother, right? But man, you had such great people on here. Goat, Mark, and Bill, and you guys go in depth, which, like you said, we know them from their videos, but you don't know everything behind the scenes. So,
right,
man, this is a great show. I am so glad that you guys came up with this, because you really get to know the person.
Awesome, dude. Because we, like you see, man, we don't got no script. We don't got anything. We just share if you want to share something. If you don't, you don't have to. It's not a big deal. We just talk and just let it flow, and we just don't know where it goes sometimes.
Well, that's the way free form is the best way it goes. Johnny Carson was, the king of improv. He rarely had any kind of script. He was like, oh, remember I saw you down on Sunset Boulevard. Hey, what was that girl? That kind of thing.
Dude, how many people do you believe remember Johnny Carson, Roger?
I remember him.
You remember Johnny?
Yeah, I mean,
King of
he
late
was way past my time, but
the king of late night, the late night. So Roger, you talk to your mom on Wednesday nights. Now we know the secret.
Yeah, okay, Raul, Cuban moms, okay, right? they are a special breed. Let's put it that way, right?
Yeah.
And because I don't live in the same town, she wants to know more information than usual, So, yeah, she asked me everything under the sun: health, relationships, food, weight, weather, you name it, right? So, yeah, it's like a 2-hour conversation on Wednesday nights with my mother.
Nice. And it's always on Wednesdays? You got that scheduled for her?
Wednesdays and Saturdays. Saturdays is the truncated version because she has to cook and all that for my brother that comes over. So he kind of ameliorates a little bit the impact on Saturdays. But on Wednesday, it's full force.
Dude, that is awesome. And you're telling me a story that you were telling her that you couldn't stay long tonight, right? What happened?
Well, right. You know how this goes, right? Sometimes suspicions occur when you break trends, right?
Right.
And I said, hey, listen, I'm not going to talk to you tonight. This is in Spanish, of course.
Right.
Oh, nice.
I'm not going to talk to you tonight because I'm going to be a guest on a show by these two great gentlemen, Raul, who is also, born of Cuban parents. And she goes, oh, es cubano. Ah, bueno, entonces, esto está bien, no problema. Tú sabes, mañana hablamos y seguimos. So you have been certified, Raul, as appropriate to talk to me on Wednesday night. It's a great honor.
Dude, you that's awesome, man. Thank you. Props to your mom, dude. But you also mentioned something about the way Cuban moms look at their kids, especially their sons.
Right.
Yeah.
And how is that, if you want to share?
Yeah. Well, they're very involved in your life. Let's just put it that way. You never really become an adult to them. Let's put it that way, right? They're always wondering, how you're feeling, how's the car doing? Did you check the car out? Are you eating well? If you're too, how cute, if you're too thin,
right. They start getting concerned.
Right. Oh, well, you're too thin, you're sick, that kind of thing.
If you're too quiet, ¿qué te pasa? ¿Qué te pasa?
You're too quiet. Are you having relationship issues?
Yeah.
I mean,
está decaído.
Está decaído, tú sabes, te veo un poco pálido.
Pálido.
Right. So yeah, they're very involved in your life, guys. And that's a double-edged sword, as you know, Raul. It's great to be loved and appreciated and concerned about, but sometimes they can go a little overboard. Well, not sometimes. Most of the time, they go a little overboard.
Did when you were growing up, did your mom? Okay, you remember Animal House? Do you remember the movie Animal House?
Oh, absolutely, John Belushi, sure.
Right. You remember the scene where the guys with the girl and the little devil pops up and then the little angel, do it. That
right.
Was that was that your mom, dude? Because my mom instilled fear in us, bro. No camine por la acera porque te va a caer y darte en la cabeza. Don't ride bike because you're gonna fall. Don't do this because this is. Did your mom do the same thing? Because she instilled fear in me and my brother.
Oh man, I could tell you stories that would take up 10 hours, right? But yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I first got my bike that I could ride, the training wheels came off or whatever.
Right.
She would go to the corner, of the house to make sure I was an eye shot of where I went. And if I went beyond the threshold where she could see me, she would run over, and say, hey, this way.
Whistle you back. Yeah. Come back around.
And she would have a shoe in her hand.
I was about to bring that up.
Okay. If you did not do a 180 like pronto, that shoe was flying at you. Okay. Dude. And let me tell you, she could zing that thing like a boomerang.
Bro, I was about to say, was it a chancleta or was it a belt? Because I got both, bro. And the chancleta is basically sandals, the house sandals, and it was like that with my mom. It was like a freaking boomerang, aim, man. Yeah, dude. Cuban mothers, there's nobody like them when they're in your corner. But dude,
of course, if you did get hit by the shoe, you'd be taken in and be coddled like all afternoon.
Oh yeah.
Oh, un poquitico chocolatico, tú quieres algo, un pastelito, tú sabes, un poco hielo, ice, So they would go overboard even in the cure of that.
Yeah, dude. Cuban parent, and you brought something up. I don't think you mentioned it. We never grow up in their eyes. We're kids forever, man.
No, right. No, we're always kids. We're never independent as an adult. You know what I mean? It's like they have to be involved or else, our lives will be in shambles.
Yeah. And it's like, don't worry. Me and your dad are here. We'll take care of it. Just come to us.
Right.
It's awesome. It's really awesome. Is. I'm not complaining. But it's different than like I hang out with Chad 90 and I hear his stories with his parents. And it's like, damn, dude, that's not how it is with a Cuban family.
No.
Nowhere like that. Nowhere like that.
Unless you're in it, it's very hard to explain the dynamics of that, you know.
Yeah.
And I find myself sort of having some of those traits with my daughter. You know, I'm very concerned about her, but I'm not quite as rigid as that. You know,
people will call it overprotective, right? I guess.
Yeah.
Extreme overprotective.
Yeah, definitely. But again, when you're in trouble or when something goes wrong, that's the best kind of person you want, because they will go to incredible lengths to help you out.
My God, dude, you are not.
They got your back.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't believe, man. It's because I've been there, and it's like, oh my God, and they'll let you have it, what you did wrong, and all that stuff, and but you're forgiven instantly. And then, okay, how are we going to take care of this? And let's take care of it.
Yeah.
So
there's two ways of handling it, right? There's let's take care of it, and then when it's cured, you're going to get like just absolutely destroyed. Right?
Yeah, you're going to get pummeled.
And you know, but once you're good, you know, or you'll get it, and then you know they'll take care of you afterwards. But you're going to get both of some measure or another.
Yeah, dude, definitely. How old were you when you came from Cuba?
I didn't. I was born in New Jersey.
You were born in New Jersey. Oh man, for some reason I thought you were born in Cuba.
My brother was, but I was born in New Jersey.
Oh, so he's older?
Yeah, he's 9 years older than I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wow, I didn't know there was that much of an age difference.
Yeah. He was born in Matanzas, Cuba.
In Matanzas. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, do you have any relatives over there still in Cuba?
Oh yes,
currently?
quite a few.
Oh wow.
Quite a few. We have a lot of uncles and cousins. All of my very immediate family came, but not the extended. You know, so like my mother's sister, she passed away a couple years ago, but she didn't want to come here. You know, because she had all her sons and they worked for the government, things like that. So you know how that Raul is very complicated politically there. So.
Look at Kachun's comment. Inquiring minds, you've hit peak quality guest status with Rod.
Oh please, come on! The people you've had on here have been amazing. Really, I'm just another cog here in the Inquiring Minds machine. Okay,
dude,
keep it rolling.
That's right.
Look at 90's comment. This is perfect, Robert. Javi. My mom been charging me rent since I could remember.
No.
Never, bro.
Never. And in fact, she would cook for you, and you know she would pay your insurance bill. You know, things like you have to put the brakes on them. Let's put it that way.
Dude, my mom would. Oh my God, I wouldn't have to fold clothes. I wouldn't have to do clothes. I wouldn't have to make my bed. I wouldn't have to pick. But you know what? Growing up, I expect that now, and I have to do that now. So it's not you're gonna come like one of the first things I do. I get out of bed, my bed's made. I make my bed.
Right.
There's no clothes on the floor. Everything's in the hamper. I'm doing that. Just you would think it would make me lazy, but it didn't. It's almost made you have expectations. This is the way it's got to be. You know.
Right.
And so it depends on how you take it. It's not all bad. It's not.
There's a question from Kachun. I don't know if you want to put it up. But
yeah, how did it feel when travel opened up again to Cuba?
Yeah, you know, this is one of those things where it's again, a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about it, right?
Right.
You know, to me, I've never been to Cuba, so I wanted to go and experience the country of my parents. So, and although you know, a lot of people says, you know, you don't want to support that government. You don't just going there. I don't think you're supporting them. First of all. And second of all, I think the best way for you to show them that there's a different way of life is for you to go there and show them who you are and show them that you are okay, that you came out okay, even through all the propaganda, you know? So I thought it was a positive as far as that goes, being able, especially people who had family there, you know, they'd never seen, but could only communicate by letters and things like that. So I thought it was a good thing if it was done in a way that you could go there and you could, not just be, taken around by a government official. If you had freedom to visit your families, et cetera, I think that would have been positive for, perhaps changing the culture there. Yeah.
I went once when I was 10, and then I went again. God, it's gonna be 2 years. It's gonna be 2 years at the end of this month. Wow. And I agree with you. I don't think it's supporting the government, because you take so much stuff with you, and everything you take, you leave.
Mm-hmm.
And usually you do take money, and they don't have any money. So when you're there, it's like they're on vacation, and they get to go and do, because there are places to go and spend money and do stuff, but they're not privileged. They're not able to, because it's only for tourists.
Yeah,
right.
They don't have the money. They make like $2 a month. Everybody's got a side gig or several side gigs just trying to live.
Right.
And
or they go to the black market to get what they can't get through the government issued the give outs.
The black market is massive there.
Yeah.
But
hey, Matt, how you doing, buddy?
I'm gonna say so. I've never felt more loved than when I went, and I was only there 9 days, and both times I went, because I remember when I was a child, the love, the shirt off, man, your last this, they'll give it to you.
Yeah.
And oh my God, you're talking about your mom, oh my God, the overprotective. Oh my God, are you okay? Dude, you're so protected there. It's crazy.
Right.
A humbling experience. Yeah, let's not make it about me. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I can't wait to go. I hope I can go again, because I miss them. And
hey, Sharon, how you doing, sweetie?
I miss them. So okay.
Yeah, me too. I hope I can go. I was planning to go right before they shut it down a couple of years ago. I was planning to go with my wife, but hopefully someday I will. And again, if I have to stay in a hotel in Varadero, because I want to go and stay with my family, and interact with them like you did, Raul. That's what I want to do.
Roger.
I'm not going for a vacation. I'm going there because I want to get close to my roots, and I don't know what those are because I've never been there.
Roger, when I went, I went with a big group, right? But I was staying at my uncle's house, but they were like, hey, let's go stay at this hotel for a couple of days. They could come and visit and eat, and they could. But I was so against it just for that reason. I wanted to spend time with them. I didn't come here to come to a freaking vacation,
right?
Go to a hotel. And to tell you the truth, when I got to that hotel and I saw what they had, and then I get to that hotel, I was crying in the lobby.
See the difference, yeah.
This is just a mile away from their house, and look at all this. There was foods galore. There was freaking people drink. It was a big old party, and it hurt me. But I changed my mind because they were able to go there and they stuffed their faces with us, and they got to eat stuff that they didn't. Right. They don't get to eat, drink a ton of beer that they don't get to drink. Right. So at the end, it was good, but I had to get to that point because I felt guilty going there.
Right.
I get you. I think it's a good experience, really, for anybody to sort of go and see other parts of the world and see really how blessed we are here. You see all this infighting happening here, and let me tell you, go to Central America, go to Haiti, go to Dominican Republic, man, and you're gonna go on your knees and thank the Lord that you are part of this country, because what they have to go through just to survive is amazing. So I thank the Lord and God that I have the opportunities here, and we have to make sure that we can keep this thing together, because it is, if we go too far out there, and we lose what we got, then everybody's going to be suffering,
Yeah.
And the number one thing, in my opinion, is we just got to stop fighting with each other.
Right.
We're all Americans, and just got to stop that fighting. Nobody's a bad guy just because we're all Americans.
Look at the community, man. We're probably all different religions, races, beliefs, but we don't let that divide us. We find a common ground, and that's what we need to find, is a common ground here. We all love our families. Mm-hmm. We all want to prosper. We all want to be better and get and advance. that's the stuff we have to focus on. And honestly, when you go to one of these countries, man, that is a lifetime of an experience right there that everybody should go through, because sometimes we lack perspective. We just do. And when we get that, when we see the other side and how people are suffering, you come back and your life is never the same. I cried like you did, when I came back from Central America, and I saw what was going, the trash everywhere and the people begging just for anything. And when I reflect upon that, I never give anything that I've ever had for granted. Every little thing I thank God for, because otherwise, you're being somebody who's not only selfish but prideful to the point that you don't know how good you have it, and it could be so much worse.
Bro, I've said it several times. We are all freaking blessed, bro.
Yeah.
Let me see how I'm going to put this. I could never do for my kids what my parents did for me, because they left everything, came with practically nothing. They're on their back. Didn't know a lick of the language.
Right.
The only people they knew here was my aunt and my uncle that brought them over. And they were just here maybe a year before. So it's not like they were freaking on solid ground. So I could never even come close to repaying that. It's like when you hear people coming there's a reason people want to come to this country, okay? Don't get it wrong. It's not that they're leaving freaking paradise to come over here, okay?
No.
They're coming for a reason, because they're in pretty dire straits. They're in dire straits.
Yeah, it's eye-opening. It's eye-opening. But well, enough of that. I mean, I think probably all of us agree, right? That I wish the whole world was kind of like us, that we support each other, we do whatever we can for each other. Maybe that's a pipe dream, but I'm an optimist. I think
definitely.
I think that once we figure out that, hey, man, we really are all in the same stinking boat, and if we can all work together and stick our thumbs in those holes, we'll be fine. But if we start fighting with each other, then our thumbs come off the holes. Anyway,
I just got to get one more little point.
Yeah.
You know what America is? America is just hope. That's basically it. Because in Cuba, there is no hope. There's no, I'm gonna grow up to be this. I'm gonna do this. There is none of that. There is, you are where you are, and that's where you're gonna be. So, to me, America is hope. For a better life, a better future, and basically that's what it is. It's just hope, giving you a chance.
Amen.
Okay, sorry about that, but
no problem.
Roger,
Raul,
I was on when I started on YouTube.
Yes.
You don't know what you meant to me, bro. I remember watching the No Faces.
Yeah.
And just putting a little comment, and you were like, "Oh my God!" and you shouted me out. And that's before I ever showed my face, and I was just putting up a couple, or I don't even know if I was even putting up videos, but you shouted me out, and dude, you really don't know what that meant, man. You didn't know. It just blew my mind. It was like I was in the chat. You couldn't see me, but I was embarrassed. But
he was getting red.
I was blushing off air. Dude, this guy's shouting me out. My God, how cool is that? How cool is that? Oh my God. And dude, that's why everybody loves you on your freaking 1000 show.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, that was something, man. That was something. Raul, listen, I mean, first of all, because I saw Hialeah, right? And
right.
I lived right by 8th Street and 57th Avenue, right? So not a ways from Hialeah, but I worked in Hialeah for many years, right? So, it's very, very dear to me, Hialeah, because, that's a big Latin, a lot of them went there. So you have a lot of Latin restaurants. You have a lot of shopping. You have a lot of houses that are like right on top of each other. None of them are up to code.
None of them are.
Everybody converted their garage into a bedroom.
Yeah.
Without even thinking that you had to get some kind of permit. And it is a special place. You know what I mean? It just oozes, that kind of South Florida flair,
Dude, an electrician, un electricista. No, eso yo lo hago yo mismo. Eso es dos cositas y ya.
No. That's a positive and negative. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, that's all it is. I don't need an electrician. I don't need a contract, an architect. No, man, come here. I'll try it up right here. This is what we're gonna do, and it's a whole addition to the house, right?
But this is, this kind of segues a little bit back to what we were talking about. We're trying to build each other up. And that's what I like to do. I call it community building, right?
Yeah.
And we are all better. You can say I did that for you, but honestly, I did that for us and for me and for everybody, right? Because we're all better if there's more options, okay? The more options, the better. I don't understand when people want to limit themselves, to certain, we have people who do unboxings, people who do CGC reveals, people who do reading of comics, people who do old stuff, people who do obscure stuff. Mm-hmm. People who do, top 10 Bronze Age and all this, right?
Yeah.
People who do music, Mm-hmm. The more options we have, the more people, the richer we are,
Right.
And so, of course, to me, it just makes sense. Hey, if we each did this for every one of us, how much exponential growth could this community have? So I was so glad to see. I think I did see your videos, like a few of them. It was no faces too.
Yeah,
in the beginning, right? And then I was like, hey, you got to catch this guys up because you had some really good stuff. And I like the way you presented it. You weren't pretentious. You were just, I'm not sure. This is my second video or whatever. You were very. So I wanted to instill a little bit of confidence in you.
Yeah.
So that we could get to know you. And now look who you are.
I'm nobody, man.
Minds. You've got Afternoon Delight. You've got more shows than ABC.
The thing is, man, this is so much fun. People, God, I wish more people would jump in because it's a blast, man. It's a freaking blast. I've made so many good friends, bro.
Definitely.
Me and talk, man. We hang out at Shops 90. We're always helping each other out, dude. I never would have met you guys without this, dude. It's freaking. I know Kachoon in Georgia. I know freaking G-Ray in London. I know somebody in Austria. I know people in freaking Australia. How is that ever gonna happen if I didn't jump in?
Right. That's right. Imagine the how we've expanded our relationships here on YouTube. It's amazing. And you guys have branched it out now into the Johnson Show football or
sports and
so you're even expanding outside the genre,
right.
Which is great. You and Steve, you guys get so into it, it's like, no, John Jefferson. John Jefferson. You know who John Jefferson is?
Oh my God, I love John Jefferson, man.
That's Raul, man. He's so passionate, but he has like these little niches of things that he'll defend to the death,
Oh yeah.
Dude, what's crazy about that? What's up, Cookie? What's crazy about this community?
What's up, Cookie?
Hey, Cookie.
You think you know something, dude, and you don't know nothing.
No,
because there's some crazy knowledge in this community.
There's still some words Metarog says that I'm still looking up on the dictionary every now and then.
Oh man, sorry about that. My wife tells me to, I try to tone it down a little bit, but my wife tells me, hey, remember, people don't have, encyclopedic knowledge of things that you like to throw out there. But when we go see her friends, she's like, Roger, keep it high school level, please. was like, okay, I will do my best. But honestly, it's hard for me not to be me. So
who you are.
It's who you are, of course.
So I don't do that to in any way be pretentious or in any way to be condescending.
No, and you don't come off that way at all. You
never come across that way at all.
Yeah, never.
I'm just a big believer in speaking and in expressing myself correctly or trying to. I mess up all the time, by the way.
Of course.
But I'm a big about that. I'm not big into slang and epithets and things like that. I like to model for my daughter and whoever watches this, that you can still speak correctly and be a fool like me and a nerd, and that's okay.
I'm the complete opposite. I'm a complete fool. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean,
I just love being a fool. I don't mind being laughed at, or as long as you're not poking, if it's all in good fun, I don't mind.
Right. Yeah,
being a part of a joke.
You should never bring somebody else down to bring yourself up.
Exactly. You never want to do that.
That's wrong.
But dude, I just love this community. And I just had to thank you. Why was it so hard to show your face, man? Why?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why did it take so long? What was the big thing holding you back?
Well, I guess nothing was holding me back per se. I just don't like things to be about me per se. I wanted, since my channel was more focused on comics, I wanted that to be the star, that to be the focus. And so I didn't find it necessary for me to show, because you see me and you're like, well, so what, right? I mean, balding old Cuban guy, not exactly something you're going to see on Chic, So, let's make the comics, let's make the dialogue the star of the show. And then it got to a point where people were like, hey, I want to see you. And I was like, nah. And I said, well, okay, if I get to 1,000, I'll show myself. Just, thinking, well, just an arbitrary number, really, but something that at least I would give the people what they wanted, which why I didn't know. I couldn't really fathom why. And that's why I said that. And I kind of a hook to get more people to be in there so that I could get more subs for other people,
Right. Because your channel was also about, it's still also about not just the comics, but you would do the contests that people were doing weekly and kind of shouting out, not necessarily, I guess you can call it shouting out, but just highlighting and showcasing these different channels that were out there putting out contests, putting out content, giveaways, and things like that. So it kind of makes sense that you didn't want to make you didn't want to show your face, make it about you, but more highlight other people's stuff.
Correct. And that's kind of, I mean, I don't want to puff myself up by saying this, but I just don't like things to be about me. That's just not who I'm about, right? I mean, I get all these accolades from people about my comic knowledge and stuff, and I appreciate it, but honestly, it's embarrassing to me. I have to almost put on a persona when I'm on camera.
Right.
I do graders notes, and like when I did the costume Metarog, I feel more comfortable that way, right? Than just showcasing me. So. But that being said, though, this is such an honor, right? That I was so looking forward to this. I mean, Raul texted me a couple months back, I think.
A couple of months.
Yeah. And he was like, hey, I want to, I'm not sure of the date, but number 50. And I was like, yeah, of course. I'd love to hang out with you two guys,
Awesome.
That was really Javi, the short and the long of it. I just didn't really want it to be about me. I wanted it to be about the focus of the video, should be on
right.
And I didn't start the comic contest roundup and all being in all sincerity here. It was Silver Age Dave who started it, and he at one point I didn't want to get into it, but he wasn't feeling well, and he asked if I could take it over.
Oh wow,
really?
Really,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
He asked if I could take it over for a while, and I said, "Yeah, of course." I was honored that he trusted me with that. So when you trust me with something, it's even more valuable than if it was mine. You know what I mean? So
right.
So I used it for a while. Then he got better, so I said, "Hey, do you want this back? And he was like, no, you're doing great. I want you to keep it. And if you want to pass it on to somebody later on, go ahead. So Silver Age Dave is the one. And he, let me shout him out because he is the one who would constantly be pumping me up,
Wow. Yeah.
I think I must have gotten 200 subs from his videos. He's sort of like my role model when I saw what he did for me, I want to do for others.
Silver Age Dave is awesome, man. He's pumped me up.
Awesome.
He's pumped me up too. Real quick, I just want to bring up this comment by Matt. I got to see Roger behind the scenes many times before the reveal. Okay, I remember like Chad, I think a couple other people. Oh no, we've seen Roger behind, in the off airs, and I was like, "You seen Roger off air?" and I don't know if that was the expression I gave, but that's what I was thinking in my head.
Right.
I'm sorry. They got to see Roger. What? Oh my God. I don't know. And I think I saw you once before the big reveal, but I was like, oh my God. Real quick, how do you feel since you did that?
What was that? One more time?
How do you feel since you made it about, showed the reveal? And how do you feel about it? You glad you came out from behind the camera?
Oh, I get it. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I knew this community was not going to give me any trouble about that. I knew they were going to embrace me in the whole bit, So I feel comfortable now, right? But at first, if you would have asked me that at first, I was a little nervous, right? Because again, I'm not one of those in front of the camera guys. I've never liked to be taking pictures of things like that. I don't know. It's just kind of a quirk of mine, right?
Yeah. But now you're
me, again, the mother every year to the photographer to get the, hold the 1, hold the 9, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And that's
but now you're putting a Band-Aid on your head. You're slicking back your hair. Metarog.
Okay.
I think you're comfortable.
That is why, because I love you guys. I would not do this for anybody, but Matt asked me to be on here, and
right.
I love that man to death. I would.
You can't say no to Matt, right?
You can't say no to Matt. So, of course, I told him I don't have a costume, but I'll make up a character. That's about as good as I can get, right? So I came up with Metarog.
It was perfect.
I've been told stuff like Negan or the guy from Shaun on
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I just made him up, and so Metarog. Yeah.
Metarog.
And I told him that Metarog is going away until next year because I told you, that gel I put in my hair, Javi, that thing solidified. It was like a helmet. Okay, and I washed my hair and it wouldn't come out completely. I had to like, let me see. I had to get one of these things, and just like
comb it. Yeah.
Scraping metal, It took me 3 days to get that out of my hair. So next year, wow. I'm finding another hair product.
That's dedication right there.
Yeah, that's pain that I went through. Well, not pain, but it was
the blood, sweat, and tears.
Like, your head hits the thing, and it's like boom, like a helmet.
You're Shana Negan. Shana
Negan. There you go. Thank you, Daryl.
You had to do the muscle, man. That's the one thing. Did you do the muscle?
Yeah, that was Bowser Bowman. He didn't even have a muscle.
Bowser. He had no muscles.
He had no muscle. He was a skinny little runt. Yeah.
Dude, that was.
Yeah,
awesome.
I love. I've when I first started. I don't know if you want the story or not, right?
Okay, wait. What made you jump into YouTube and do all this?
Okay, that's what I was getting to exactly.
Yeah.
I wasn't even supposed to be here. Okay.
Okay.
What? Okay, so let me find this. I have some visual aids here.
Awesome.
That I brought, right?
We love visual aids.
Right.
I know Biggie likes the visual aids.
Right.
We gotta show some books. We gotta show some books. Biggie's here.
So yeah, Biggie's here. So there was a gentleman who had a video where he was showing these 30-cent variants, which I happen to have a complete set of, and I've had it for about 15 years or so. And it took me a while to compile them and all that. And so I gave him some hints, and I said, hey, I have a complete set. So he was like, ooh, could I see all of them, because he'd never seen the complete set. And I was like, well, when I get a phone that has video, that quality video, I'll make a vid. So months went by. Actually, this is the first week of November is my 3-year anniversary on YouTube.
Wow.
And so I compiled all the comics and I made up a little stand, and I went through it and I explained, how they came about, the marketing, the test variant, the reasons they did it, to try to see if there was pushback on a 5-cent increase in test markets. They didn't want to do it across the board because they didn't want sales to go down too much. So they did it in 5 or 6 test markets, medium-sized test markets. And so I did that video, which was, if you see it, it's awful. It's honestly, it's horrible, right? It's too long. I stutter. I slipped. It's awful. The angle was bad. The lighting was atrocious. Right? Awful, right? But people still liked it, and they're like, and I got comments, and they said, "Hey, could you show more stuff like that?" So I got a whole bunch of variant sets, so I started showing all that stuff. And then one day, Bub hits me up and says, "Hey, I'd like you to be on a show that we're starting, which is the No Faces chat." And that was like my first time being on a show. Before it was No Faces, so I was comfortable with that.
Exactly.
And,
perfect.
And then it ballooned from there.
It was tailor-made for you.
Right. It was tailor-made for me. Right.
Hey,
right, exactly.
This is exactly what I was thinking. What Chris Barrett just said. They better not be raising my man. They were doing a test market for 5 cents.
5 cents. Not once. They did it twice, because the next year, 1977, they came up with the same thing for 35 cents. This is a 35-cent variant. They're very hard to find. Probably about less than 3% of the run, by my estimation, the 35-cent variants. So, again, and both of them were successful because both of them were raised after the month trial period.
Hey, I gotta say real quick. Everybody shows their collections, and there's amazing collections.
Oh yeah.
But I gotta say, your 30 and 35-cent price variant collection, that's one of the to me, that is up there, dude. It really is, because when I heard that you did that, and I remember when I was like, oh my God, how did he even think of doing that? That's crazy, because I know Miami down south, we weren't nowhere near freaking the test. That was like what, Ohio, or it's up there in the Midwest?
Ohio, Michigan, Texas, Alabama, and Massachusetts. So yeah, I was nowhere near. So, but however, because Florida is, you get a lot of Northerners, and so I did find some, especially in the Orlando area. Every time I go, I would go up there 3-4 times a year, Disney World, whatever. And, family would go and do something, and I was like, I'll hit the shops, So I would be, and I found about probably 20 or, between 30 and 35-cent variants, found about 20 of them. And then I found somebody online on the CGC boards who was also collecting them, and he and I would strategize how to get them. We would hit up people who lived in the variant cities who had collections, and we would bargain for that. And back then, there wasn't a lot of people collecting them, so we got most of them for like $5, $3,
What made you think of that, to collect that? Because I don't know anybody else that has that or went about doing that. And this was all pre-eBay days. I imagine now it's a little easier, but it's going to be a hell of a lot more pricey to do that, right?
Right. Well, I did find a few on eBay, because I did find a few in the early 2000s. Like the last ones, like there were some Westerns that I didn't have, and I couldn't find them anywhere. Nobody had them. So I would go through the listings on the variant cities, and every once in a while I would get it,
So that was what I want to. How did you know which ones were the ones, though? How did you? Because where did you look and find a variant price list? And okay, this is my checklist. Where did you know?
There was a guy named John McClure who put one together, but it was incomplete, right? So this other gentleman's name is Harry, and myself. We just kept digging at it. We found that every comic from April through August 1976, Marvel had a 30-cent variant, except for two, and that was in Inhumans 5 and Kazar, I forgot, 15, something like that, who were always they were 30 cents, even though they should have been 25. But that was another market test problem. That was another marketing test that Marvel went through. So once we had that, and it's 184 issues or 86 issues.
Wow.
Then you start looking for those titles in those areas. And it took years, but eventually we found them all. And he completed his set first, and then I did.
Wow.
And now they go for massive money.
Some do. Yeah, some do.
I know that Moon Knight, what is it, Marvel Spotlight 29? That goes for big money. Yes, I got to see that. Wow, 30-cent variant. That book goes, and that looks really nice, Roger.
Yeah, because I told you, nobody was looking for these things back then. So I've probably upgraded this 2-3 times.
Oh, wow.
That book goes for big money, dude. And it's only going to keep on going up because of the Moon Knights supposedly be getting made, and there's an actor.
Yeah.
That is freaking.
That was a lot of fun. I did that also because that was the era where I was getting all my comics off that 7-Eleven rack on the newsstand outside Burdines downtown,
downtown, the Burdines in downtown? Oh my God. You remember the Woolworth in downtown?
I sure do. That's where I got these. Hold on.
Dude, the Woolworth, bro. I remember
these.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Still wrapped and everything.
They even have actually, no, I'm live. This is Walgreens. Look at the sticker.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow. Still
Walgreens.
with the sticker on.
Yeah. But I know I got one of these at Woolworth. I remember like it was yesterday. It was hanging on one of those metal tabs. And I remember telling my mom, hey, instead of a candy bar, can I have this? I mean, not that exact same one, but it was a 3-pack.
Roger, you remember the Woolworths in downtown, right?
Yeah.
You remember that they would have the eating part, and it had like the bar, and
had a little counter with sandwiches, and it had a little thing with cake and pastries. Yep.
Dude, I remember when I was a kid, I would be like, oh my God, that's like for the adults, and we'll never get to eat there. Look at that, and just freaking out. And it was, I would see that and it would be like, oh my God, it's all gringos. It's all los americanos. Mira, ahí donde comen los americanos. Oh my God. No, we don't go eat there. That's for the, it's like, oh my, it was like.
The stools were higher. Were higher. You had to like climb up on those things.
And they were red. Remember they would
go round and round. Yep. Yep. I remember it, man.
Oh my God, dude! I
remember that. No sale. This is not a claim sale here.
No claim sales here.
No claim sale here.
Oh my God, there it is. Yeah, 28. Dude, oh my God, through downtown, man.
Yeah.
Man, a couple of weeks ago, we had a comic book 62.
Yeah.
And he's still down south, and he grew up, and he went to Sunshine. He went to Trop. He went to all the comic book stores from back in the day, and I'm like, dude, you guys definitely crossed paths.
Oh yeah, Sunshine
Comics,
Comics, A&M Comics, Frank's Comics.
A&M.
Yeah.
That's the oldest one in South Florida, I think.
You know what A&M stands for?
He told it on the show. He told us in the show. It was the name of the owners, right? Their initials.
Yep, Arnold.
I never knew that.
I went there when Arnold owned the store.
Wow.
Yeah, he was a a balding gentleman, and super nice guy, and he would let me go through all the back issues, and he said, pull anything out you want, I'll give it to you for half price.
Wow.
So really nice guy. He passed away, unfortunately, very pretty young, and probably was like in his late 50s.
Oh wow, he did pass young.
Yeah, I think the M was his wife, Michelle. I think I don't remember seeing her there.
What did you think of Sunshine?
Sunshine was a mess.
People don't understand
Total
what
mess.
it is until you used to go to Sunshine.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I remember going in there once, and then, you had the lady. Remember her, the lady?
Right?
Yeah. And they had bot collections or something, and they would just stack them
on the floor
in front of the long boxes. Dude. And she would be like, "Hey, what are you looking for?" And I'm like, "Where am I going to find it if I do tell you what I'm looking for?"
Yeah.
Dude, have you guys watched The Others? You know that movie, The Others? It's with the Nicole Kidman and her kids can't see the light, and it's like a horror movie. If you guys have seen that movie, the old lady in that movie that plays a psychic, that's how the old lady at Sunshine Comics looked. It was like wire hair. It was the mother of the owner, and it was
the owner. The owner was a guy, a younger guy,
younger guy, and
he made me nervous many a time. Yeah,
bro, it's not that they didn't have the deodorant. I don't know.
Oh no!
It was the con body odor smell, and it was like, oh my god! And I remember my dad was like, no, yo no entro. I'll wait for you guys out here. Yo te espero aquí afuera. Here's money.
Let me tell you though, at one point, I don't know if it was her or the son, they wanted to blow out a bunch of stuff, and they put in the front, right in the front when you walk in, all these long boxes, and she said, 25 cents, anything in there.
Wow.
I tell you, I got so much stuff in there. I got like full runs of stuff, like Ms. Marvel, Spider-Woman, Marvel Team Up, Brave and the Bold. I mean, it was just full runs. One of each. In other words,
they had keys.
Yeah, they had keys in there. I remember there was I picked up, what I picked up there? Captain Marvel 25.
Wow.
I picked up, man, now you're straining my memory a bit, but I remember that one for sure.
Man, New Comic Book Day, it's like what Roger said, they would order like 50 copies or 100 copies of the books, and they would just be stacked on the floor, raw.
Oh, man.
No bags or board, and there would just be stacks of comics.
Yep.
I remember, it was freaking madness.
No, it was a madhouse. Madhouse.
Hey, Biggie has a question for you.
Yeah.
Here it is.
All questions are welcome.
Which book would Metarog rather have? First Vision or Black Panther? Wow. I guess, man.
That's a tough choice.
Characters that I really do like. Man. I should have. I used to have a first Black Panther. When I went to college, I needed some textbooks, and I sold some of my Golden Age, and I sold some of my. I never had like the 48, 49, 50, but I had the 52 and 53, so I sold those two. So that's kind of out of sight, out of mind. So probably the First Vision, because I've never had it. Yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never had it.
I think I'll go with the First Vision for myself.
It's cool because that cover is an homage to the Golden Age Vision,
right?
Which a lot of people didn't know, until recently.
I just found that out recently. Somebody put it up or something on YouTube or on Instagram or something, and I just knew that. I didn't know that before. And
homage covers back then were pretty rare, so I think that is very, very neat that Buscema sort of did that. without telling. There was no hype about it back then. I didn't collect back then, but back then they didn't really have that kind of hype. So
You don't collect nothing new, huh?
no. I think I stopped buying comics right around 99. I mean, new ones. The
new ones.
full list. Yeah, about 99. After the Image guys came over to Marvel, that kind of soured me.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
And then after that, the storylines got so convoluted, and you could tell they were pushing you to buy all these X titles and things like that. I really resented. I don't like people to force me to buy something that I purposefully am avoiding. So
I feel the same way. I left the hobby for like 20 years in the 90s. I just couldn't. All the Liefeld and all the different covers and like. What was it that? It wasn't so much the different covers. It was like you got to get this book, and then you got to get New Mutants this, and then you got to get this, and then you got
the crossovers.
All the crossovers, yeah.
I hate crossovers, man. I cannot stand it. It's exactly what you said. It's like, but it's just money grab, and it's just a money grab, and it's like they're waving the carrot in front. You're not going to complete the story until you get
right. You need all the crossovers, all the tie-ins. Yeah.
Right. I don't mind crossovers if it's tastefully done, and like for example, if all Galactic Storm, right? It had all the characters from the Avengers across into their titles. Okay, that's okay because if you're an Avengers fan, you probably have Iron Man, Captain America, that's fine, But when you're talking about, X-Men and it crosses over into Fantastic Four and it crosses over into, some unrelated title, that's when I resent it.
Yeah, it becomes a money grab. It's like I still get the new comics, and when I was reading the X-Men, which was great with the
Hickman.
Yeah, Hickman. And then when that ended, and now it's in New Mutants, and it's in X-Men, and it's in this, and it's like no.
Excalibur, Marauders,
and this and that, and people saying that it's great, but it's like no. I'm done. I'm done, dude. That's where you lost me.
The Hickman verse.
The Hickman verse, exactly.
I don't have anything. I've read some of the new stuff, and it's actually some of it is okay. I don't have anything against it, but at this point in my life, I'm reticent to get into something that it costs you like $4 or $5 for a new comic. I much rather have a back issue for that money. Somebody gave me, I think it was J Hood Creative. He gave me I won one of his contests. And he gave me, and they're pretty good reads, but man, 5 minutes and that's it. You're done. I am like, where did the words go?
Yeah, some of them are like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, man, $5. What's that like? You're paying $1 a minute. For. I'd much rather get a Silver Age or a Bronze Age. It takes you 15 minutes at least. It has some meat to it.
How do you feel about the modern trend or the modern change of art style, like the more graphic art style versus the original drawing on pen, drawing with paper and coloring with just like that?
I think some of it is appropriate. To me, the art style has to match the story and the art and the vision of the creators. Okay.
Right.
So some of it is actually very appropriate, I think, because again, you don't want to have, for example, an Archie style artist on like a horror comic.
Right.
It's a non sequitur, right?
Right.
So if you're having somebody who does that kind of very fine line of art, very deep inking, and you're talking about a horror, a mystery, suspense, that's great because it sets the mood. It gives you a sense of dread or of expectation. That's fine, But what I see is that sometimes they don't really match that up. They'll put like something that is a superhero comic, and they'll make it very cartoony and overly stylized. And again, to each his own. I mean, I'm talking about what I like. I'm certainly don't criticize anybody for liking a certain style over another, right? That's different strokes for different folks. I totally agree that. But for me, I like, maybe I'm old school, maybe I'm old fogey, old fashioned, whatever you want to say. But I like my stories to match the art styles, and that is just the way that I grew up with comics. So that's the expectation. When you see Graders Notes, you'll see that I sometimes have an opinion which is different from my other great co-hosts, because they come from a different perspective, a different era, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I find it to be fine. You know, I find it to be fine if it's appropriate for the story. Some of it is, some of it isn't. Back in the Bronze Age, they did the same thing. Don't get me wrong. There's mismatched stuff. Look at Human Fly. I mean, man. I mean, talk about gross throw-up stuff. You know. I mean that's the only series I had, like a complete Marvel Bronze Age set from the early 70s through the 80s, and that's one I had to jettison from my collection because it was so terrible.
It couldn't stay. It couldn't
stay. You know, that's why I don't buy stuff. I know people buy, like, for, you know, because it's hot, or because of first appearance, or because, you know, it has some kind of star quality. That doesn't make any sense to me. If I don't like it, it's not in my collection.
Right.
Or unless it has some other intrinsic quality, like I like the marketing and the promos, things like that. You know, things that.
Oh my God! Let me see that. Evil Knievel.
Things that have, to me, nostalgia and have purpose, right? Things that have distribution angles, things like this that, you know, Evil Knievel, Raul, I can tell you, this guy was huge in the 70s.
Bro, Evil Knievel? Are you kidding? Do you remember when he tried to jump over the Grand Canyon?
Yeah.
Or Caesar's Palace?
Caesar's Palace,
over the fountain, right? Oh my God, dude.
Right.
Is that a larger size comic book, or is that like a Bronze Age?
No, it's Bronze Age, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I like these kind of things, you know, that appeal to me, right? I mean,
right.
And quirky things like this, you know, which nobody in their right mind would own, right? But I find it to be fascinating.
Oh yeah, I've seen you show that off.
Right, this totally politically incorrect comic. It's totally bizarre and quirky and daffy as can be, but I love it because it's a snapshot of the culture and the sort of the trends of the time, you know. So those are the kind of things that I really enjoy, you know. I'm odd that way. I mean, I know I am, but it has its quirk, it has its perks, because a lot of people are saying, I've never seen that before. That kind of makes me happy, you know, when I find something that's really novel and unique.
Bro, Chris Barrett has a question. Let me see. Do you enjoy Story Event? I'm not sure how this goes.
That is a crossover, but you don't need the tie-ins. Like maybe what?
Crisis on Infinite Earths, I think, would be a good example of that.
Okay, yeah.
The story was tight enough in the regular 12 issues that you didn't need the crossovers were really more subplots for the characters, right? They weren't really critical to the
main story,
to the main story, to the thrust, or the. You didn't need it to be able to see what the story was about, I guess.
Right.
It sort of was an expansion of that for the character. So I think that is fine. Yeah, that's fine. But when it's a cliffhanger and the next one is on a crossover, that's a little bit different. You're forcing you to get that issue. Yeah,
definitely. D has a question. What do you think of Treasury editions? They are some of my favorites.
Oh, I didn't bring those. I'm packing because I'm moving at the end of this month.
Really?
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Guess where I'm moving to, Raul?
Oh,
Hialeah.
No, I'm moving back to Florida.
Are you really?
Barely.
Where, Georgia?
North Florida. It's my wife's family has a homestead in North Florida.
Oh, wow.
It's about 10 miles from the Georgia state line.
Oh, wow.
So it's way up there. We're moving on Thanksgiving, so I'm packing up my stuff.
You're moving on Thanksgiving during that week?
Yeah, during that week, right.
Is your mom happy?
she's happy that I'm going to be closer. And now I told her I'll visit her Christmas or a little after.
Yeah.
You know, because from here it's a 2 or 3 day drive. You know.
Do you miss Florida?
I do. I do. My wife too, because all our family is there.
Oh wow.
So, you know, mine's in South Florida, hers in North Florida, and we lived in Central Florida for many years.
Yeah.
So,
my parents just moved to Central Florida.
Oh yeah, whereabouts?
Or Greater Orlando area.
Oh, Greater Orlando. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. That's cool. So right in the middle of the state there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you're moving, do you come across boxes that you're like, oh man, I didn't know I had that. Oh, that's here. Oh wow.
No, actually, I don't know yet because everything that I've packed, I knew that I had.
Yeah.
To answer the question though, before I forget, because you know, when you're my age, things will go fleetingly, right? To answer the questions, I think treasure. I don't have them, but here I have about 20 of them.
Wow.
Especially at my age, I really appreciate treasury editions. Javi, it's coming for you. Okay.
I have one.
When you get to a certain age, right? Things that you would read as a youngster become very microscopic. Yeah. Okay. You know. So treasury editions are comics that are tabloid size, for those of you who don't know what they're talking about. And so they're very easy to read, and they are a blast. They're mostly sold in the Bronze Age.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I love them. I think that they are fabulous throwback. They really take me back to my childhood, you know, because that's when they were there. You know, comics still through now, right? So, but that was only there. So Daryl, yes, I love them. I did a special with a few guys a few months back about them, and we just geeked out big time. But I think for nostalgia's sake, treasury editions are right up there. Yeah.
I remember I didn't have a lot of treasuries, but the one I freaking loved was the Defenders. I think it was number 4. I could be wrong. And man, I freaking read that book. So I destroyed that treasury edition. It was just like, oh my God. And then I would trace. You remember getting the tracing paper and going over the comic?
Oh yeah, tracing paper. Yeah, man. And you'd feel like a real artist.
Oh, you have to be careful with those treasury editions, guys, because they would put in the back a diorama that you would cut out.
Right.
And it was a 3D diorama, and that would ruin it. You know, at that point, it would fall apart. So thank God I cut out value stamps, but I never cut out my dioramas.
Man, I never cut out I never cut out the Marvel stamps. I just never did.
I'm guilty. I have sinned, Father.
What I always wanted to cut, but my mom would never do it. Is remember when you could cut out the coupon and mail it and get like the books delivered to you?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you could get like 3 titles for $6 for.
Yep.
Always wanted to do that, man. But my mom would be like, no, tenemos que coger un money order. No, es mucho trabajo.
It's too much work.
Too much work. I did do that when I was older. I did do that. I got like you said, 3 titles for $6. I forgot what it was.
It was crazy.
Yeah. But I had my first subscription was Justice League of America, I think 1974, 1975. And they would, I don't know if you remember this, Ro, they would put it in a brown wrapper.
I never got it. I don't know.
They would put it in a brown wrapper and fold it in
the story. They would fold it.
Yeah. So you had this nice crease right down the middle.
No, really? Wow.
Yeah. Javi, I'm not telling you, it wasn't hermetically sealed. I'm saying it was open on both ends like a newspaper and like that. It was just butterflied.
And now that's called the subscription.
Now it's a subscription crease. That's why it is. Exactly.
Oh, wow. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. But, again, back then we didn't care. We had,
right.
That was immaterial. You had the newest JLA on the block. You were a rock star.
Yeah.
That's it. Everybody came to your house to read that JLA.
Dude.
And when did you start getting into like bags and boards? Was that always around when you were collecting comics?
Well, Robert Bell started selling those in the 70s, but again, that was not. We weren't collectors for preserving the comic at that point. We're collectors to have the stories and to have whoever had the most comics. That's it. You won. You know, the condition was immaterial. If you had the covers, that was a bonus. You know,
it wasn't even that. You got any book that looked okay. It was. Oh man, this is near mint.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Near. It wasn't mint. This is near mint.
Near mint. Yeah.
Look at that. This is near mint.
Hold on. The spine split only goes up to there.
You're good. You're golden.
You're golden, baby. That's it. Yeah.
And long boxes and short boxes weren't a thing back then either, right?
No.
But the bags and I don't think I got bags and boards until the late 70s.
Yeah.
And boxes, I don't think I got those till like the early 80s.
Yeah.
Wow.
I didn't get my first. When I found Sunshine, that was like my first comic book shop. I didn't know what bags and boards were.
Yeah, either. Yeah. In fact, I think that's where I got my because the new ones. Did they used to put them in a bag and board, or am I thinking about it wrong?
You would have to buy it. You would buy it. I remember you would buy it in the bags, and then you would have to bag and board them yourself.
Oh, okay. And maybe that's right. Yeah, maybe that's right. Yeah. That was a long time ago, Raul, man. That's a long time ago. I remember buying Marvel Spotlight #1, the Captain Marvel one from Sunshine, and I was like, "What is this diamond thing up here?" You know?
Oh yeah, that's right. The diamond.
Direct, yeah. And I remember having a discussion with the lady, and she was like, "No, that's the way they come now." You know?
Was there like a significant change that just stuck out to you as over the years of collecting comics?
And in what way?
Just something that kind of just stuck, like you said, the diamond on certain things, or like, they're changing trends now from superheroes to more crimey stuff, or anything that kind of just stuck out to you that you were like kind of shocked or.
The one thing that I remember when I started, because like I was telling you guys before, I would get my comics when I was younger from 7-Eleven and the newsstand. There were no comic shops, or at least I didn't know about them until the late 79, I think was when I first went. But in the early 80s, we started getting these things called independents.
Oh my God, yes. Independents.
You want to hear a story that'll make you cry? It was 1982, I guess, or 80, whatever it was, 83. And, they had this book there called Cerebus.
Oh my God.
#1, and it had this aardvark, and it had this really weird art, nothing like Marvel or DC had, right?
Black and white, right?
Black and white.
Right, and no color. And the lady was pushing it. Hey, you should try this, And I was like, and it was more expensive too. It was like a buck or $1.50. Oh no, I forgot what it was. Whatever it was, And I was like, nah, I'd rather get some more DCs and maybe a Charlton, I was a big Charlton fan even back then. So, that is a regret, because to get a first print Cerebus, #1, it's probably a hotter comic than this thing here at this point, So I wish I could have been a pair, but oh well.
Or a Turtles #1, right?
Turtles #1 is another one that I saw. That was 1985 or 84, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I saw that one as well. And I was like, lightning could not strike twice,
Hey, David Enriquez is asking about Slurpee cups.
Oh, yeah. Slurpee cups, man. When you went to 7-Eleven in 1975, I want to say, and you got your comics, if you had a little bit left over, you got your Marvel Slurpee cups. There was 2 series.
Yes.
And man, I had a bunch of those when I was young. I mean, I remember the Super Stan one where he would have the
Super Stan that he had the cape. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I had a stack, and you was just, oh my God, I had a whole collection of those things.
Wow.
David Enrique, I had Iron Fist, which was one of my favorites. Man, I love those, but I didn't have a complete set because it was like 50 or something of them.
Crazy.
And it was just like whatever they would give you, whatever was on the little, cylindrical stack, So.
I remember watching, getting you remember the Clea cup?
Oh yeah, she was like, like sitting or something.
Yeah, she was like in like in this weird.
Yeah.
And I remember getting that cup, and even as a kid, I was like, what is
Oh, you muted yourself.
You're muted.
I would look at Clea and I would be like, dude, it just doesn't seem right. I don't know. There's something weird about. Is she a superhero? What's up with this chick? Right? It just doesn't seem superhero-ish.
Right.
But she was a badass, so
she was. Yeah. That's a good one. I got one. It was the Knight Rider, the Phantom Rider. I forgot.
The Western one. The Western one,
right. Mm-hmm. I had never seen him before because I didn't get the Westerns, So I was like, who's this guy? And I went through all my comics trying to find this guy, And I told you, I had a pretty good, collection of Bronze Age at that point. And I asked my friends, who's this guy? Oh, I don't know. And then I asked some guy, it was like an older guy who's down the block, who's an American guy. He was like, oh, yeah, he was in, what was it? Mighty Marvel Western back in the 60s. I was like, what? I'd never even heard of this title.
But it was a cool cup because I remember that cup. It was a cool cup.
He was on a horse.
Yeah. Hey, and Jackson Roy Clark, yes, the second series would wrap like this one. They would just show the character.
Right.
And then you had the little quirky little sayings on the back.
Yep.
And then season 2, it was like a
wrap around,
It would wrap around, and that's how you could tell. That's how you could tell.
I was part of a project. Now I'm really dating myself. I was part of a project years ago to identify the art where the original art came from the Slippery Cups from both series.
Wow.
And
wow.
We still have like 2 that we cannot find. It's some kind of we figure it was art made just for the cups, but we have never found it anywhere else.
Wait a second.
Wow.
So what you did was see where this original art was from in the comic?
Correct.
Who does that?
Nerds do, boy. Nerds.
Who does that?
Nerds, man.
People who are passionate about this.
Yeah,
stuff.
like one of the Hulks comes from a cover from a UK bumper book.
Oh wow.
It's odd. Some of them are modified. They modified covers or panels so that it would look good on the cup, things like that. Even Super Stan, that comes from an ad for that Stan Lee was hawking something. So all kinds of weird stuff like that.
Dude, that is crazy. I can't fathom that.
Was that before YouTube?
Yes. This started 20 years ago when we started doing that project.
Okay, so you were still, how can I word this? There was still a community that you were a part of.
Yeah.
As far as comic book lovers go.
You had the message boards.
Right.
The message boards back in that late 90s and early 2000s were, you didn't have visual, but you could communicate in real time,
Like forums and stuff like that.
Forums, right.
Yeah. Awesome.
So we would say, hey, go look at. We couldn't send pictures, so we'd say, hey, go look at your Fantastic Four 174, page 16, panel 4, and see if that matches up.
Bro, look at Magic Lasso. The only one I guess you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, off the top of my head was Quicksilver was from Avengers 75.
Yep, he's running on the corner there. Yeah.
Wow.
Quicksilver.
Yeah.
What an awesome character, Quicksilver.
Yeah. Very cool. Very cool.
Dude, you remember? Okay, Quicksilver was a big deal back in the day, right? In the 70s? He was in all those Avengers, and he was a big character.
Well, he was, because, first of all, he took Crystal away from Johnny Storm.
Right.
And he married Crystal in Fantastic Four 150, I want to say. So he was, cool. He became an Inhuman. He was a mutant, but he became an Inhuman.
Right.
So he was pretty cool guy, but he wasn't really that he didn't show off that much in the Bronze Age. He was more of a Silver Age guy. He was
he came back in the 90s, like doing some like high evolutionary stuff in the 90s. Yeah.
And when the Avengers reformed and became Cap's Kooky Quartet, which was like Cap, Hawkeye, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver, then he was, he was more involved, but he kind of phased out after that.
That's crazy, dude. Where do you want your YouTube to go? Are you just having fun? What does your wife think of it? Does she support you? She loves it.
She thinks it's cool that I have friends and I have something to do with my spare time, things like that. And she doesn't mind it, but she doesn't really get it,
Right.
She's like, man, I hear you guys talking, because on Monday night she hears me,
right.
And she's like, hey, those guys are cool, but me, I'm a nerd.
Yeah,
she's cool with it. She's cool with it,
bro. Look at Biggie's comment, dude. Has always been nothing but supportive to everyone. Love you like a brother. I remember when you and Biggie first got together. It was like complete opposites, and it was just beautiful to watch. It was like, how is this gonna go? And it was just, I thought everybody was thinking it was gonna be a train wreck. Oh my God. And it was just beautiful to watch you guys together.
Yeah, I love Biggie because, again, he's got this passion for it. He goes and he gets these comics every day. He goes to that shop and he gets like 4 or 5 and he shares them on Instagram. And he's like, oh, he uses some kind of shorthand, which I'm not totally sure what it is. But it seems very dynamic, right? But I love the guy. What can I say? He's totally opposite than I am, but we're the same. It's kind of hard. It seems oxymoronic, right? But he's got a passion. I've got a passion for comics, and we sort of meet in that kind of nexus.
The thing about Biggie is, as long as you're showing books on your channel, you're okay.
Right.
The minute you don't show books on your channel, he's gonna call you out.
Right. And since all I do is show, essentially, unless you're talking about the roundup, that's all I do, really. So, but yeah, that was cool, right? I mean, and Biggie, I love to have him on because he's, what's weird to me, right, is when I'm with him, he's so respectful and he doesn't go full bore WCW, whatever. I'm sorry, no, the NWO.
Yeah.
Sorry about that if I insulted any wrestler.
It's all good.
So I never told him, hey, you gotta. I never would say that. Right? He does it, and that shows me the love and respect he has for me.
Exactly.
And so I have nothing but love for that guy. Absolutely nothing.
We all do. We love Biggie.
Yeah, man, Biggie's the bomb.
He is.
He's one of these guys that you want him in your corner. You want him in your foxhole, right?
Right. Yeah. If you're stuck in a rock and a hard place, I think Biggie would go to whatever end to get you out of there.
Definitely. That's the kind of guy. That's the way he comes across, and that's definitely the guy he is.
Right.
Yeah, dude. How is kind of keeping on that vibe?
Yeah.
Dude, Bubba's out there too, man. How do you reel him in?
I will quote the Odyssey here when it says, "When you have Achilles in your corner, you don't control him, you unleash him."
You unleash.
Right? So with Bub, he first of all with Bub, right? He is a unique personality, as you know.
Total.
Trash talker.
Extraordinaire,
right? But he's incredibly smart, super sharp.
Yes.
Very well rounded, honestly. So he comes across as this kind of, know-it-all and, crass and all this. But that is not at all who he is. Not at all. That is he just is having fun to like we all are, but he takes it to the hilt, So that's why he shows the comics, and he'll show an innocuous place, but it's next to a very salacious part of the cover.
Right.
That's just how unique and how wonderful he is. And I owe him a lot, because Silver Age Dave got me to a certain level, and Bub is the one who I credit with keeping me on YouTube, because he just called, or I think he called me, or maybe he texted me, and he said, "Hey, I'm doing this show, and I want you, nobody else. I want you." And I was like, "Why me? I'm not anybody, And he saw something in me I didn't see in myself, and it's been a show that we look forward to, and we've been doing for over 2 years now.
Wow. That show is great, man. And then
the No Faces show is amazing, and I'm honored to be a guest on the No Faces show.
You were both on there.
Yeah,
I was so scared to go on that show. And I didn't even have to show my face, and I was terrified.
It was like, oh my God, what am I gonna talk about,
bro?
How am I gonna sound as smart as these two guys?
No, we don't really, that's the good thing, is like this show, look at all that we have. We have Rod with his Shout Out show.
Yeah.
We have you guys with Inquiring Minds. We have the No Faces chat, where we have guests, and so many other shows like that, that have guests and so forth. And Matt with his yearly extravaganzas and all that stuff.
Your contest shout out, man. That's great.
So
Discovery Bay. We can't let out
Discovery Bay, exactly. So we all do something, but I think we all do it, and we want people to be comfortable. We want people to come in and feel like they're part of the family. We don't ever want to put. I mean, Bub does, but not in the way that it would be. It's all in good fun.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah. But in that sense, it's actually, you feel more comfortable. It's like, hey, we treat you the same as we treat these guys. Like the regular guys. So, but that's part of the loving and the inclusive nature of this community. And we were so excited to have Javi on there. We were talking about it because he's such a talent. His musical talent, and he's such a calming and obviously he's a handsome young man. So we're like, hey, this might bring the ladies in. You know what I mean? But no faces. So I was like, no, it's not going to bring the ladies in. They can't see them.
Right.
Dude, I love being on with Javi, man. I do, man. And guys, I think Javi's right at 299 or 300.
Oh,
I'm at 290. I think I'm at 299 or 298.
You're at 299, man. My wife's already subbed to you. My daughter's already subbed to you. I'm subbed to you. If somebody could get him to 300 tonight, that would be freaking awesome.
Oh man, now I'm gonna blush.
It's long overdue. You should be way up there, dude. Because, dude, I love you. Man.
Absolutely.
I'm not from Hialeah, but I'm as close as Hialeah possibly.
Javi's like that calming force.
Oh man, thank you.
You feel safe with having Javi because he's gonna straighten the ship and keep the ship going. And
Right.
Me and Goat on that show, we kind of go, me especially, and then brings it back down, and it's all good, Yeah,
Javi is the guy. If you have a daughter, Javi is the guy you want her to marry.
Yeah.
Oh man,
he's so kind. He's so under control. That he was very respectful. So that's what I like about Javi, is that he is that guy that no matter what the situation, he is always just trying to keep it together. Not panic, not go out there and start blustering and bragging. No, he is a straight guy. He wants to do things the right way and make you as comfortable as possible. And guess what? You 100% do that, and you are excellent at that.
Dude,
you definitely are, man.
You guys are too nice, man. This is what this community is all about, man.
Well, that's you. You did that. We were just reflecting.
Bro, I met Javi on a road trip with Chad. I never even knew who Javi was, and it was like at the end of the road trip, I was like, dude, I love this guy. I love.
Yeah,
this
man.
guy.
It was awesome.
It was great, man. It was freaking awesome.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, when I saw him on Life with Two YouTubers, and he started all these different musical instruments, and he was so humble about it, and so just he has like this calming kind of presence about him that to be with him is like a day out in the beach, relaxing. It's just always going to be mellow and good.
That's my type of day. Yeah.
There you go.
That's Javi in a nutshell. That's Javi in a nutshell, man. All right, man. Hey, we've been going for an hour and a half. The time really flies on this show.
No, it's only been half an hour, I thought.
Right.
Oh my God. Oh, look who showed up. Where's Puff? I just saw somebody say Puff.
Bub?
Puff.
Oh, Puff.
Hey, Puff.
Hey, Puff.
Is he here?
Where
there he is, man. Sorry, Puff. I didn't see you, Sean. Awesome, man.
Come on, guys. One more sub. Come on, we can't. Listen, we're not going off the air until we get 300 subs. Okay.
We need you at 300. Javi, let us know.
Go get your coffee. All right. Start percolating because we're not.
This is gonna be like last night? No, I'm just kidding.
We're not leaving here until Javi gets 300 subs. So no doubt about it.
Oh, right. Yeah. Comic magazines. We had a little bit of slip ups with Hialeah going a little crazy on the Start Me Up show.
Oh, Hialeah going crazy? No, that never happens. Like the whole shirt, the whole Red Hulk thing. I mean, that's beautiful. That's emblazoned into my mind. I can't get that out.
That is quality content right there.
Man, when I was young, I was so conscious of what I would do and all this. And now I don't really care. I could care less.
Dude, what do we have to lose, man? When you're a certain age, you're not going to impress anybody.
Don't care.
You don't care.
Don't care, man.
It's so liberating. You know what I mean? It's so liberating.
Is.
This is how I am. This is how we are. And that's it. It's natural. It's true. It's honest, and that's it.
And that's it, man. When I was a kid, the internal battle was crazy, and now it's just like peace. It's like you said, your first video, you were like stuttering, and I don't care. I don't care if I forget. I go on a tangent. I don't care.
Right. Yeah, I'm the same way. There's one thing I did want to say before we leave.
Yeah, definitely. Share that.
This is another thing that's sort of a milestone, right, in my life. And I owe that to King of Comicdom. You can put me back. Because he asked me to write a story for this, which is it's kind of a pulpish book. And I was like, I've written stories, but always for myself. I was a consummate reader and writer. I mean, just you know what I mean. Your wife is shopping. I'm like, I'll start.
Yeah.
Starting concepts, things like that, and then flesh them out later on. And he asked me to do this, and I was like, I'm not a writer. I'm just a dabbler.
Right.
And the whole community got together. Not the whole community, but a lot of people in the community. Life of YouTubers is in there.
Yes, Reno.
We've got Night Tiger in here.
Oh wow.
Again, it's just a great little. I'm not selling this. I'm not telling you to buy this. I'm just telling you this for the story part. That it's part of how this community what it has done for me. How it you build a friendship and that sort of grows into you doing something that's out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
But
definitely.
when it's done, this is the product, and so proud to be with all these individuals. Rena's in here, Cade's in here, and we're part of this. Is a bond that we share, And I would never be able to do this if it wasn't for this community. They have embraced me, and I've never gotten a negative thought on this community. Never even one.
You're not pushing the book, but where can you get that book?
You can get it on Amazon, actually. Hold on.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can get it on Amazon. You can also get it
on sale on Amazon.com. Yeah. You can get it on Amazon. Yeah.
Nice.
on
Absolutely.
Rena's website as well.
On
Rena
Rena's,
Brown author.com, I
Yeah.
think it is.
I sent out like 4 or 5 AOKs this past week, and I gave them all a
Perfect.
copy, and I personalized it to them, because that's another thing that I really like about this community, right? That we're so giving.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've received tons of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I've given out. And let me tell you, I think giving
Is better.
is actually feels better to me, you know.
Right.
But I'm always honored when somebody gives me something, because it's the love, you know. It's whatever it is really immaterial. It's the fact that they thought of me enough to actually take the time to put this together, put it in the mail, and get it over to me.
That's what counts. It's the thought, man. Just somebody thinking of you, right?
Right.
That means the world.
Like Raul, when he was talking about the mead folders that he had him when he was.
I got them right here. They're right here, man. They're right next to me. I love them. I freaking love them.
When he said that to me, and I was like, I have a few extras. I got to get them to him. I was just waiting for another couple comics that I wanted to put in, because you just don't want to send a little something, you know.
Of course.
So that hit me, and I was like, that inspiration. I was like, okay, this is for Raul. This comic's for Raul. This comic's for Raul, and boom, it's inspiration.
You have antennas, right? And you're just trying to
Right.
Yeah,
dude,
Making
they're right
tiles,
here, man. I love them. They're right there, man. They're right on
they are cool. They are cool. I also identified the art inside the folders for that too.
You're crazy. You know what? You just brought up something. I love those videos of you and Night Tiger meeting up in the diner, and it was no faces back then, so you would just see like the bottom half of the body.
Yeah.
Those videos were excellent, man. I loved watching those.
Yeah, that Mike is such a cool guy, you know, and he
super
drives
cool.
this huge rig.
Yeah.
You know, so we meet in this truck stop that's about 10 miles from where I live. By the way, Comics at Law. I live in Starkville, Mississippi, but I will be moving to just outside Tallahassee, Florida, later this month. And yeah, those were cool. And the waitress in the second one was nuts. You know, she started doing all this like new energy stuff, and how people all have certain auras, and I could tell by your aura. So nuts of stuff, but you know,
Yeah.
he's a cool guy. He lives in Ocala. Hopefully, we'll get together now that I moved to North Florida. And,
that's right.
Sometime, yeah.
That's right. And I know he had the thing. I think what was it? His shoulder.
Yeah, but he's back at work now.
He's back at work now.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yo, Jeff. What's
Hey,
going on,
Jeff, how you doing, buddy?
Long time no see,
Or
man.
love from Chicago.
Welcome to Florida. Thank you. Oh, the Comics in Law lives in Florida. Cool. Yeah, Florida is a hotbed, I tell you, for comic collectors down there. Man, I tell you. Wow, man, there's so many of you down there.
Hey, Matt has a question. Are you going to rename the comic room once you make the move?
Well, I'm not going to have where I'm moving to is a smaller place.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to have a comic room there. I'm just going to sort of set up in a spare bedroom so I can make my videos. But I'm not going to have no Metacave for there. But, you know, when we move to our hopefully forever home, I'm going to have the Meta Cave. Okay. I already have ideas for the design and the whole bit. So when that happens 2-3 years down the line, you guys will be invited there.
Nice. I can't wait, dude.
Hey, and just a shout out to Simply Incredible Podcast for the sub. Thank you, man.
All right. You got it.
We're at 300?
I think so. I'm on my phone right now, so I don't want to switch back and forth, but I think
You are.
so.
You're 300. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Dude. Awesome.
700 to go. For 1,000.
700 more to go. Let's do it. Road
It
to
took, it took me
1,000.
2 years to get there, so you got no time to go.
Dude, congrats, Javi, man. Long
Congrats,
overdue,
babe.
man.
Congrats, man.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome, dude. Made the night even better. Roger, I cannot say thank you enough for coming on. I knew you. I was hoping you would be the 50th.
He was so excited. Raul was so excited to have
Well,
you on, and he was
I
like,
think
"Dude, I have our 50th guest. I have our 50th guest."
I think Raul is like a brother that I never had. You know, another brother that I never
That's
had.
how I feel. That's how I feel.
One day we're going to meet.
We are.
Definitely.
And we're going to hit it off. Javi, I hope I can meet you too, because I'm a big fan of yours, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you.
I'm honored to be here. Like you as excited as you guys are, believe me, I'm like 20 times more excited to be on Inquiring Minds with you too. Because this show, what you guys do for the community, the exposure to these smaller channels as well, I mean, it means a lot. And it shows a lot of the love that you have for this community. You get no benefit from it other than the knowledge that you are growing the community. 100% behind you on that one.
I have a blast doing this, getting to know everybody.
I know.
On a different level. You know.
Man, that poor Mike one, man, was like off the chain good. I mean,
poor Mike, dude, they're all
they're all so different, but they're all so good.
But when he was saying about his name, you know, how that, oh man, I was like, oh man, you're kidding me, right?
The thing about Mike's, I never thought we were going to talk air conditioning on this show.
Right. I learned so much, right?
Exactly. It was great. I loved it.
Like you said, this show, you just never know where it's going to go.
You don't know where the conversation is going to go. You just don't. It just flies. It just flows. But man, thank you, Javi. Thank you so much. Congrats on 300.
Hey.
Long overdue, dude.
And thanks to this great chat, which I know we haven't been talking about them much, but
I've been trying to highlight everybody, man.
I know. It's tough on a show like this when we're trying to communicate with each other. But
exactly.
Yeah.
I've been looking in there, man. These guys have been like just handing it up like you wouldn't believe in there.
Thank you so much to the chat, man. You guys are amazing. We're going to be doing a Road to 250 show in about 10 days. Nice. Can't wait to see that.
Great. Let me know on IG, buddy. I'll make sure I get you on the roundup.
Nice.
Definitely. But man, thank you everyone in the chat, everyone on replay. This has been special. Look forward to this. I can't believe we're at 50. Metarog. Javi, thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you, Hialeah.
Thank you. And Roger, man, thank you so much for coming on, man. It was awesome hanging out with you, bro.
Oh man, you kidding me?
I remember the first time we talked on the phone and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I was like, what? Hello, Raul? Dude, I am just a regular guy. I am nothing special. Trust me.
Hey, I know, man, but it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is, dude.
Well, when we meet, we're gonna get some great Cuban food.
Cafecito. Yes. We're gonna get a cafecito. We're gonna
go to Hialeah. I'll pick you up in Broward. We'll go down there to Hialeah, and we're gonna reminisce.
We're gonna reminisce and hang out, dude. Man, thank you everyone for coming by. Man, awesome. I love you all, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support.
Love you guys.
And
love you. Take care.
So long from the Sunshine State, and we will see you hopefully next week, same time, same Hialeah channel. Be good, everybody.